Do you need the headset? Okay. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the public speaking class's final exam, our tribute speeches. Each of our students in our class has chosen someone important to write a tribute speech about, and they are here to honor you and their loved ones. We look forward to this wonderful day, and we're so honored that you could be here. It is my delight to welcome our first speaker, Natalie Ocampo.
All right, testing, there we go. Hello, welcome to my part of the speech day. So, today I'm here to honor my cousin, Valerie Osorio. When I was born at the mere age of 0, I was already introduced to my cousin, Valerie, only a year older than me. We lived merely minutes apart, and we hung out a lot when we were much younger. Nowadays, she moved to Chatham, and however much that's not very far. We never stopped talking, being friends, and, hanging out. So I wanted to honor her today because she's a very, very important person in my life. A few years ago, we had a conversation where we were talking about how different we were. Our tastes, our interests, even our friends were completely different. That day, we decided and agreed that had we not been related, we probably wouldn't have been friends. And that was a sad thought to me. But then that also opened my eyes to a new way of thinking, that despite our differences, we still get along great. We're still best friends, and every time we see each other, it's always happy sunshine and rainbows. And I think that's all thanks to her, because she is so kind, compassionate. She never really made fun of me when, I was having these weird phases. I really liked these childish interests in things. And she always listened, even though I knew she wouldn't normally be interested in this stuff. But she was always really happy to hear me talk. And I'm really, really grateful for all that. She's like that with everybody. She is one of the most responsible people I know because she's able to, from a young age, take care of her little brother along with her parents, which is a normal sibling activity, but eventually schoolwork gets more difficult, and eventually she started working at her parents' bakery, and eventually got even more jobs, and was still able to really take care of her family along with them. And now she's in college, and she's still able to keep up with everything, even when I would have collapsed and given in. And it inspires me a lot to work harder in my own life. So the reason I wanted to do this now, to really honor her, is because in a few months, she's going to join the Air Force. And it was a very, very sudden decision to me, but she had shown me that she had put a lot of thought into this decision. And I want to support her, no matter how far away it is, which is in Texas. I want to support her like how she supported me all my life. I want her to understand how much she means to me. So, here I am. I think she deserves respect and to be honored because she is selfless, kind, compassionate, patient, there for other people whenever. She was the manager for her high school's wrestling team. She did a charity where they raised money for kids with cancer. She did a lot of things for a lot of different people. She's always there for her friends. And she was always there for me. An inspiration, someone to be a friend, a family member, a confidant. I looked up to her a lot. So whether it be her working hard in her multiple jobs, doing the work to join the Air Force, being there for me, other people, being responsible, kind, and all that, she made me the person I am today. So I love you, Val. And I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Thank you.
Look up to and want to be like when I grow up. My best friend, my therapist, and my mom all in one. She cares for people like no other and is one of the most caring people I know. She makes me feel loved and cared about every single day, no matter the circumstances. My mom's gone through more than most. Her father had cancer when she was in college, and she'd be going back and forth from Fordham to help her mom take care of her father. After college, she moved back home to help take care of her father until he passed away. She created her own family, having my brothers and I, and still took care of her mom the whole time. My mom's the most hardworking person I know. When she's determined to do something, she'll do it. And this past couple years, she's been taking tests to improve her career in finance. It's been truly inspiring to see my mom work so hard every single day studying. While I'm studying, no matter what period of life she's in, she's still determined to do anything she puts her mind to. She's not only hardworking, she's kind. She's always kind. She's the kind of friend who is always there to listen and give any advice people need. She's there for her loved ones and puts everyone above herself. She cares for people like no other. She does the little things that people usually don't really notice. She's always there for my brothers and me, providing for us, creating a safe home, and loving us. The person I can go to for anything, no matter if it's good or bad. When I was little, she started skiing to help teach me how to ski, even though she snowboarded. It's something so small, but she made me feel safe and calm. Every single time I would fall, she'd come right over to me and calm me down, making me confident again to keep going down the mountain. This winter, we went skiing as well, and she made me feel secure and safe. She just has a way with her words and her presence that make me feel cared about, no matter what. Although we liked skiing, me and my mom also liked shopping, which is sometimes not very good, but some of my favorite memories with my mom are just going to the mall, and we always have the best time. If you know my family, you know how busy we are. My mom keeps all of us really organized and together. She's brought me and my brothers to lacrosse tournaments all over the East Coast for years, and she's never complained once. She cheers us on. My dad and my mom are always the loudest on the sidelines. My mom really has nothing, there's nothing my mom really does not do for us. One thing that she does each week for me is she goes to Trader Joe's and buys flowers for me, creating a bouquet to put on my desk. As I sit at my desk studying late at night, I get to look at my bouquet sitting on my desk, reminding me of the care and love my mom has for me. No matter how busy we are, even when she's not with me, I feel her love. My mom's not only an amazing mom, she's a good friend, wife, and professional. I really wouldn't be here without her today. She's the person I go to for everything. I'm grateful every day to have such an amazing woman to look up to each day when I wake up. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Jake and I'll be honoring my mother, Jill Dennison. Do good work. I hear those words every morning as I leave the door, so that's what I tried to do. Her goal has always been to put me and my brother before herself and make our lives the best they can, and so far it's been great. She always pushes me to my most potential when I can't, because that's the type of mom she is and she knows how much I'm capable of. She's always been my role model, and I admire her patience, resilience, like when she has to wake me up 5 times in the morning and I don't get up, and she still doesn't get mad. I admire how she never quits at anything, and I hope to be like that one day. These great attributes have brought my mom great success in life, and she has achieved many things that I think honor recognition. She was a student athlete at Cornell, and even though she felt like the dumbest person there, she made it through and achieved her accomplishment of making it in. She used that degree to start her business after COVID, which for a lot of people was a really scary time, but she made it a blessing in disguise because she had more time to work on things she really cared about and spend time with me and my brother and be involved in our life when she used to have to be in the office more. But the accomplishment she said she's the most proud of is raising me and my brother. In our chaotic house with 2 boys, my mom has always been the grounding factor. Whether it's after-school practice or late-night study sessions, she was always there to help, even if it meant stopping what she needed to be doing to help us, because that's what she really cared about. Her selfless behavior has helped create a lot of great memories and shape me into the person I am today, and I hope to be half as selfless as she was. While it's impossible for me to pick one moment that's my favorite to look back on, this last year of high school has definitely been the most special. Out of all the years I've taken for granted, this last year hits the hardest knowing it's my last year living in the house I grew up in. The most memorable moments were touring campuses like Syracuse, where she showed me the exact buildings where I would study, making sure I would know how to navigate and overall exist independently of her. My mom has spent her whole life teaching me how to live without her. I don't know how much she's been thinking about me leaving, but she spent a lot of time helping me leave. While I know I'll be capable of navigating these next few years without her, physically with me, I'll never be without her, as she will always be a part of who I am. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chase Belenfanti. First off, I want to share an inspirational quote that I heard recently. If at first you don't succeed, try doing it the way your mother told you. Does that ring a bell? Well, I'm sure you've been in various situations where you've realized that your mom knows best. Mom, I learned that you do. Now, my mother is someone I respect dearly. She makes me feel optimistic, joyful, and determined to pursue the best in life. So my mother grew up in rural Texas. She was raised by my grandmother and grandfather. Unfortunately, he was quite stubborn, so he argued frequently with the family. My mother also grew up working class, so she didn't have some of the luxuries that her peers did in high school and in normal life. Despite this, she graduated from high school and then attended New Mexico State University. It was about 45 minutes away from her hometown. Interestingly enough, she didn't have a typical college experience. Her parents couldn't afford to pay for her college, so she had to work hours during the week to help pay for college. But despite these struggles, she persevered, and she ended up graduating with a bachelor's degree. Now, after high school, or after college, my mom became a graphic designer in New York City. She has helped design covers for popular audiobooks and has pursued other creative endeavors of her own. Now, growing up, my mother and I didn't have too much time together since she would work late hours into the city. But despite this, we made the most of it, having nice conversations, watching TV shows, and even reading bedtime stories. She has always supported my wants and needs, whether that's buying cool items, giving me valuable life lessons, and expressing love unconditionally. Now, as I've grown older and my mother's become a freelancer, I've had more opportunities to spend time with her. She often helps me without expecting anything in return. My mother is also somebody that helps other individuals, and she also helps organizations as well, such as the Junior League of Summit, Sandy Hook Promise, and Brady United Against Gun Violence. My mom always acts in a manner that aligns with her personal and moral values. Now, I have some awesome memories of my mother, such as going skiing with her when I was 8 years old in the winter. One of my favorite memories with my mother is traveling with her up to Lake George, New York. And every summer there, we go boating on the water, we play fun games, and spend nice time together. Now, one of my favorite memories that I have is going up with her in New Orleans. There, we listened to cool music, ate good food, and it was a good time. So to wrap it up, I just want to say I truly respect my mother for the individual she is. She always shows her unconditional love, and I am so appreciative of her support. I couldn't ask for a better mother. Mom, I love you. Thank you.
All right, let me start this off right. Thank you everyone for coming out on this very cold evening. It's really cold out, so let me make this quick and special. I decided to dedicate this speech to one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Osmond. Mr. Osmond, where do we start? We first met my beginning of my junior year in my English class. Mr. Osmond always brought happiness and can always easily brighten up your day upon arrival. Mr. Osmond was always very flexible with anyone in class and very understandable. Any questions you asked, Mr. Osmond was there to assist you, or Mrs. Thomas. I could be really having a bad day when I arrived at Mr. Osmond's class, and he could make you smile and forget about anything bad. One of my favorite moments in Mr. Osmond's class was when we decided to read the book Lord of the Flies. Mr. Osmond one day came in on Halloween with a very discreet Lord of the Flies costume. I think anybody can see, it's very good, loved it. I always struggle reading and staying focused, but when reading any book and with him in class, I always enjoyed it. A memory that will always be remembered was when Mr. Osmond came into school in this very detailed Lord of the Flies character's costume. Mr. Osmond showed how passionate he was to the classroom and showed how much he loved teaching and bringing joy to each student every day. After my junior year, I was lucky to be back in E38 with Mr. Osmond again in this class, public speaking. I decided to take this class not knowing what we were going to get into. And when I found out about this tribute speech at the end, I was very nervous and not ready and prepared. But Mr. Osmond always told us, be ready and always follow your notes. And I thank you for that, Mr. Osmond. But definitely not the quills. I think all of us can agree the quills are not a big part of the thing. I'd always have that grudge against you. Mr. Osmond would assign us big presentations and made us get out of our comfort zone and showed us how much he really wanted us to succeed in our life. And myself, I can assume the rest of us in our small class can agree. But I remembered all the things Mr. Osmond brought us throughout the year, and he gave me a confidence boost, and I knew I could do it. Before the speech selection, Mr. Osmond joked about how no one ever picked him. So I knew how to pick him and be the first one. So I dedicate this speech to you, Mr. Osmond. I would like to say thank you for everything you've ever done for me all through our 2 years. I always remember everything. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to miss you in our time together at Madison High School. And I always remember every piece of information you gave me, such as the exclamation points, periods, commas. Everybody always teaches me that. The last thing I wanted to say is thank you for everybody coming out on this very cold day and listening to us cry and rant about our people. And thank you again, Mr. Osmond, for everything. I really enjoyed our time together at Madison High School. Thank you.
So, when we were first given the tribute speech as an assignment, I concocted a question to myself to create the name of the person in which I would be honoring in this speech. And the question was about the person who made me who I am today. That was what I would do my speech. And I ended up coming up with a lot of faces just off the bat of friends and teachers and lots of family who have influenced who I am. But one person stuck out as a person who has been with me through thick and thin, and that is my dad. He has influenced me in thousands of countless ways, but the most important places in which I find his influence in my daily life is in my goals, my morals, and especially my humor. Starting out with my goals, I can't always say that I have been the most on-topic person. My path through life has been very winding, but my dad and my mom as well have both been very important in allowing me to be able to find what I want to do and especially explore, especially as I'm looking into astronomy and the arts and the flute. The second thing is my morals. My dad has, through the years, instilled a very strong sense of justice just through talking with him and experiencing life around him. He has been a very important guide in how I find what is good in this crazy world of chaos. And going a bit into me as I go into my humor, I personally take great pride in my humor, in my ability to make people laugh and deliver jokes. And I find my dad in a lot of the jokes in which I end up telling, whether they be straight off the cuff or pre-planned. And I also find that he has been a steady hand, especially when I am writing the 100-something papers I've written for school, in telling me when to not tell the jokes and take things a bit more seriously. But he hasn't influenced me in just that. He has also influenced me in thousands of other ways. One of the biggest is the sports teams I like, whether they be amazing sports teams with decades of years of amazing players, or they haven't seen the playoffs in literally my entire life. As you will notice, there are more of those than And going into the Charlotte Hornets, one of the memories that I think will carry with me throughout all of history is going to the Charlotte Hornets with my dad. We were season ticket holders back when we lived in Charlotte, and a lot of where I get my love for the game of basketball is sitting there in the stands with my dad, him explaining to me the rules of the game and what players are new, what players are old, who's good at basketball, who's not good at basketball, and me sitting there stuffing a carton of Bojangles in my mouth, only kind of half listening. But I wanted to bring this up in this speech because that is where I found a lot of my interest in stuff has been sitting down with my dad and just listening to him talk about his interests that have slowly become my interests over time. And another example of this would be Marvel and the giant piles of comics that my dad has given to me that I have now read at least 100 times. But if I were to go into all of the stories that I have with my dad, we'd be here till 3:50. So I will simply end my speech off with this. My dad has been an amazing guide to me in all these years, and going into college, I am really thankful for his guidance and even if I don't always listen to what he's saying, it will be almost certainly what I use going forward into college and into life. Thank you.
I'll be talking about and honoring my mom, Mary Ann Tuttle. My mom grew up with 3 brothers in Long Island, New York. She worked as an architect, art teacher at St. Vincent's and the YMCA. She volunteered a lot, such as being the Cub Scout leader when I was little, and she volunteered at the Montessori school. Now my mom follows her passion by pursuing her art business and makes and sells her own art. My mom is a role model for me because she tells me that it's possible to achieve more and follow your dreams. She reminds me to do more, try my best, and not be scared to try something new or intimidating. I wanted to honor my mom because of the impact she's made on my life and what she does for me on a daily basis, and the impact she makes for me to make my life better and easier. My mom is the most creative person I know. For all my family members' birthdays, she puts up in the kitchen, she spells out happy birthday and then our names to help celebrate. My mom is creative, independent, and she shows me that to persevere in life. She makes and sells art at local events, and she does it for her passion. Instead of just receiving a regular present for Christmas or birthday present, you might expect and receive one of her art present or one of her own piece of art that might be made for you. This Christmas, this Christmas, I spent at my aunt's house, and we were all just hanging around in the living room, and we started just talking about some random deer figures that were on the coffee table. It turns out my mom made them, and she made them for my aunts and uncles a long time ago for Christmas, which I think is really cool and interesting. So my mom's art business is Art Creative Concepts. She spends so much time and devotes her efforts to her passion. Continuously, she sells art at the farmers market and at local events, no matter how hot it gets. She charges so little for something she invests so much time into. It's really worth more than I think she believes. Despite economics, she pursues her passion, and I'm so inspired by her dedication and passion. My mom is always there to help me. She offers to make me breakfast in the morning, even when I don't ask, and she gets me clothes and shoes all the time when I need something new. She puts me first before herself. As I mentioned before, she attends local events to sell her art. One time when I went to the farmer's market in town to visit her with me and my sister, she gave us all of her money she made from the day to let us go buy lunch with. And this is just an example of how I believe she is generous and thoughtful. Ever since I was in elementary school, my mom has always told me to take my time with my work and do my best with it. I respect her because she is always there for me. She's thoughtful and encourages me to achieve more. She tells me that my dreams are limitless and always accomplishable if I work for them. College entails a lot of pressure, first by finding the right school, picking the right major, and choosing the right career. And I'm going to be playing collegiate lacrosse. But my mom is always there to reassure me by giving me her full support no matter what I do. Thank you, Mom.
Just briefly, thank you so much again for coming. It means a lot that you're here to celebrate your young people celebrating you. And I'm sure that we could keep going in an infinite loop. But it means a lot to me. And I thank you for your young people because it's a delight to work with them. One more round of applause for our students. How was that? It was great. It was great, right? Thank you so much, guys.